How's it going, guys? It's Chucky here. If you've watched many videos on my channel, you'll have seen that I've made a lot of content specifically on the different types of capes in the game. I've made videos on everything from Minecon capes to custom capes given to certain people on different mods such as Optifine. Since the very early days of Minecraft, Mojang seemed to make it fairly obvious that they wanted capes to be their version of cosmetics in the game, but it seems that they didn't want them to be too easily accessible like they are in other games. But many third-party applications eventually picked up on this over the years, and started to implement capes as either a donation perk or just straight up selling them. Over time, this became a much more common thing, and eventually Mojang caught onto it, and from what they've been posting recently, it doesn't seem like they're too happy about it. Recently, they released an update to their user licensing agreement stating that they were no longer allowing capes to be sold by third-party mods, clients, or servers. I do want to throw in a quick disclaimer here to say that there are references to this in older posts, but this is most likely from them updating them. And it's also worth noting that people haven't really spoken up about it until this point. Regardless, I do want to stress the word might in the title. None of this is 100% confirmed. Keep that in mind. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to be covering what Mojang actually plans to do about this, the reactions the community has had, and what companies like Optifine plan to do as a response. So, without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Before I go on with the video, I want to say that I may have got a couple facts wrong in this video, but this is the best I could put together with the resources that I have. People have only started to take note of this very recently, so there really isn't that much information on it. Lastly, I'd like to add that I'm not associated with Badlion, Optifine, or any other company that I mentioned in the video, so please don't take anything I say as an official announcement. Also, join my Discord, the link's in the description. So all of what I'll be talking about in this video is related to Mojang's End User Licensing Agreement, or their EULA. Most companies that sell and distribute any type of software have either an EULA, a free software license, or some other type of licensing agreement that I didn't get a chance to research about. They essentially just define what the owner of the software allows you to do with it. It has become evident over the years that Mojang has some pretty strict rules about what they want you to be able to do with their game. Taking a look at the documents they've published over the years, it's clear that they have a few main rules, and they are to not A, sell or give copies of the game or accounts to anybody else, and B, to not make money off of anything they've made. There are of course a lot more rules detailing more stuff to do with things such as selling in-game items, ranks, and other things. But this was one of the more later updates they did, as it was around late 2014 when they announced it. But it did completely change the game for factions and prison servers, as they were mainly very pay-to-win servers, which is exactly what Mojang seemed most against. But as this isn't too related to what the rest of the video is about, I won't go into too much detail about it. Fast forwarding a few years, the EULA kept pretty stagnant and mainly stayed centered around preventing pay-to-win aspects from being too prominent in games and servers. But just a few days ago now, Mojang added a new page to the help section on the webpage with a single line that might change a whole lot of things to do with mods and game clients. As I said, around a week ago of when this video was uploaded, Mojang released a new article about the commercial use of the game. Most of the article is related to the same sort of stuff regarding, say, not allowing servers to sell extra lives, server unbans, and other things. In this article though, Mojang did permit the selling of completely cosmetic items, except from capes. Before I get into what issues it can cause, why did Mojang decide to only target capes? Well, we don't really have a proper answer to this, as Mojang hasn't said any more on the subject since the announcement. But after doing a bunch of research and reading of the EULA, I put together what I think could be the reason. I mentioned earlier that Mojang has one major rule, and that is that you cannot try to make money from anything Mojang has made. The keyword here being anything. From what I can see, it seems that Mojang is rightfully taking full ownership of capes. Of course, Mojang made these way back around 2009-2010. I made them available to the public in 2011 with the introduction of Minecon capes. So it looks like that Mojang finally decided that they weren't happy with so many clients and mods taking their idea and making money off of it. A quick side note is that it could also be due to their other rule of not allowing people to let other people get access to anything we've made in a way that is unfair or unreasonable. Modded capes do technically break this rule as well, so it's likely a mixture of the two. So essentially this means that clients such as Badlion are pretty safe, as most of the cosmetics weren't created by Mojang such as angel wings and headbands. But sadly, they may still have to end up removing their capes from the store. In terms of reactions, I've seen two main ones from different companies. The first being certain client creators immediately complying with the rules and removing capes from the stores. I don't want to mention who this was though, as their tweet on the matter has since been deleted, and in DMs they told me there was little they could tell me at the moment, but there may be more information coming soon. The second was from Optifine, essentially stating that they had acknowledged the concern about it, but won't be changing anything for the time being. I talked to some people that are heavily involved with Optifine that you may know from older videos of mine, and I was told that while they're not planning to make any changes, they do definitely have a plan B in the event that they do have to remove capes. And finally, there's the reactions that the community had. In reality, as it was such a small update in an almost legal document, not many people even really know about the update. The people that know about it are either those who keep on top of the EULA for whatever reason, or those that follow certain mods or clients closely, as there's been a lot of discussion in certain discords such as the Optifine Discord. But apart from that, this is a very little known issue to most people, which is part of the reason I decided to make this video. So obviously the last question is, if capes do end up getting banned, what will replace them? This question is a lot harder to answer, so I want to quickly preface this part by reiterating that none of this is 100% confirmed, but I am only going to be talking about things that I've either been told by people high up in these companies or the most truthful things that I've found from my own research. For this question though, I'll be using Optifine and Badlion as my two main examples. As you probably know, Optifine takes donations and gives capes in return, while clients such as Badlion sell the cosmetics for a set price. It's difficult to tell which of these Mojang prefers, as they've expressed concern with both over the years. Badlion hasn't expressed any concern that I'm aware of yet, but if they were contacted by Mojang, I can't imagine they'd take a really massive hit from removing capes. I don't want to pretend like I know their sales numbers because I don't, but it's not too difficult to figure out that they likely make most of their sales from capes, whether it be seasonal ones or partner capes. Of course though, they'd most likely be allowed to keep selling the rest of the stuff on their store, such as wings, hats, and emotes. The biggest knock-on effect that I can think of though is the YouTuber and server capes. Whenever Badlion partners with somebody or a server, they usually let them design a cape and put it on the store, giving them a certain amount of the money from the sales. So if capes were removed, then it would take away all of the income that the partners get from this. However, Badlion does have a few cosmetics still similar to partner capes, such as bandanas, so it's likely they would just ask for designs for new cosmetics, as well as possibly advertising the influencer's code more often. Optifine, however, has a slightly different issue. They've always only given capes in return for donations, so you'd think that if capes were removed, they wouldn't have anything to sell, right? Well, no. For starters, I've been told that Optifine does have a plan B for if they are forced to remove capes, but sadly right now, it seems like it's confidential. I haven't been told what this backup is, but there has been a few theories. The one that I've seen most is the idea of backpacks. I've had a lot of people been bringing this up in my Discord server when we've been talking about all this, so I decided to cover it here to start with. I've only managed to find one screenshot of this anywhere, and it seems that it'll still likely be entirely cosmetic, and use similar designs to what we've seen already in the capes. However, it does seem unlikely that this is the idea they're going to be going with, as I was told that it isn't official to any extent. It was just something that some moderators were working on as an idea. I did also manage to find a decently long article by SP himself about additions he has in mind for player models, from things like cat ears and fairy wings to other things apparently. Now, while there are many things that would obviously be very difficult to implement as a replacement, there just seem to be a couple things that I think could work out, and it's clear they're definitely not going to be running out of ideas anytime soon. Cosmetic capes are a massive thing when it comes to multiplayer Minecraft, so it would be interesting to see what other effects it has on players and the official Mojang capes. Regardless though, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. It took quite a while to research and put together, so again I apologise if there's any inaccuracies here and there. Jumping back to what I was saying about my Discord server, on Sunday the 19th of April I'm going to be holding an event on Hypixel through my Discord. I'll likely be recording the whole thing, so if you want a chance to be in a video, make sure to come check it out. But apart from that, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.